This is Sky Blues Extra.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sky Blues Extra Live, sponsored by Shortland Horn. Wow, what a week for the Sky Blues. 3 wins out of 3. Unbelievable stuff. When it's really mattered, Ross, we've come to the party.
Oh, what a week. We both have had haircuts.
We're looking trim, fresh.
The team's playing in tip-top form. We're looking in tip-top form. The dream team is back. It's another 3 points. It's 3 wins in a row. We waited all season for back-to-back wins, and then we get back-to-back. And then in the space of a week, it's a week, 10 days, we've gone from, as Wardy said in our group chat, like, pooing it a little bit. I was very scared. We go back to the QPR game, mate, when we were doing the live.
Yeah.
And the change from that to now, the performance, the results, and we're 15th.
I mean, does that set a new goal for us now for the rest of the season? How high can we finish the top of the bottom half of the table?
I'm gonna get my popcorn and watch Derby and Rotherham and Wednesday all scrap it out. I mean, who would have thought? I said to you, Dino, after QPR, we will be lucky if it gets to the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think the players and Robbins and all of the team, that after that they used that QPR, was like, that is the lowest we're going to get. We've got to respond, and we have. And happy days.
Listen, Wickham have beat Bristol right at the death, so we've gone above Bristol. Birmingham have just scored against Nottingham Forest as well, so they're climbing up the table. But I know it's not mathematically safe, of course not, but we're safe. We are safe in the Championship once again at the Ricoh.
We are, 51 points. We're 8 points clear of Derby with 9 available for them. They've got Birmingham and Wednesday and Swansea to play. They're not picking up 9 points. No. We're 12 points clear of Rotherham, and they've only got 15 available to play for now. You look at it, 51 points. I always thought, I actually feel 48. It'll be interesting now to get to the end of the season.
See where it is, yeah.
See where the 48 would have been enough. But I just thought, let's get into the 50s. Robin stressed it, and we'll get on to the performance today. But my worry was, I don't want us to feel like we've done the job and we got the win today. And now we can just go out and play with freedom the last 3 games, and let's finish as high as we can.
I think to an extent, you saw the freedom there this evening as well.
Oh, 100%.
The pressure's well off now. I mean, the pressure was off before tonight. That's what I thought anyway. And I suspect the players probably thought that. And it was a free hit again. And, we've stood up to a big game and gone and won the 3 points.
Oh, that freedom, but we weren't passive, were we? And even against, in the Rotherham game, the game which the pressure was on, we faced up to the challenge. Rather, there's other games this season when we have had more free hits, and we've just sort of wilted, and not really got going. Whereas today, like you said, the pressure was off. But I'm buzzing, Dino, mate. You see me smiling back to back.
I know. It makes a change when you saying that you're done.
I'll tell you what's done. The relegation battle for us.
That is done. Absolutely done. Sky Blues fans, get your comments in. We'll put the best on the show. We've got loads coming in, so we'll get through those first before we get Glenn in on the show. Maddie McMaddy, get in. Simple as that. Glenn is with us again. Delayed kickoff to the show. So sorry about that. And apologies, we weren't there on Sunday as well, unfortunately. But who cares? We are staying up. Absolutely. Nige said that second half escalated quickly. Yeah, we'll obviously talk about that second half a little bit more detail. But what a raucous night at the Britannia. And to an extent, we outstoked Stoke, I thought, as well, in parts of that game. Paul Sparks, what a great week. Mark Robbins is the king. Yeah, certainly a change of tune towards Mark Robbins from a few weeks ago. That's for sure, from a lot of so-called fans, shall we say. Largely, EI up football, here we go. We're like the buses. When you want to win, it don't come, then 3 come at once. Play up Sky Blues. Tom's mentioning our haircuts. They are unbelievable, obviously. Josh says, never in any doubt, giving me vertigo. We're so high up the table. Yeah, like I said there a couple of minutes ago, it's now a case of where can we finish? I know you don't get more cash depending on where you finish this year, but it breeds confidence into next year and to say to potential targets, look, we finished 14th, 15th, the sky's the limit potentially next year.
But it also gives Robbins a chance now to sort of maybe give Eccles a start. Do you know what I mean, in centre mid, and say to Fads, because there's players who are out of contract. Robbins might still not have decided whether he wants to give him a new deal. Someone like Fads, you've got 3 games, mate. Show us that we need to give you a new deal. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same for Biamu and I mean, who would have thought that we would have all took 21st, and then to now, I know the 3 games we could also drop that down again. But I mean, to see where we are and think, oh my goodness, it's unbelievable.
We'll have a nosebleed by the end of the season, that's for sure. Liam's asking if the playoffs are a possibility. I don't think so this season, Liam, unfortunately. But next season, who's to say we can't do what Barnsley are doing this year? Richard is saying that he loves ending the season strong. Yep, good to see that.
Makes a change. Normally in the Championship, our season started well, and then when I do these memory lane pieces, I look and it's just red just for the last 2 months.
It's dire, isn't it? Where's the saying that Operation Premiership is back on? Yep, potentially. Let's not count our chickens too soon. I suppose the European Superliga are looking for teams. So after three wins on the spin, I'm sure Dave Boddy will have that email in his inbox momentarily. Luke Lewis is saying playoff pressure's on. 4 wins from 5. The lads have done the job with a few games to spare. Love it, up the cov. We can look forward to next season now. Yeah, well, I mean, we've still got 3 games to go this season. We don't want to end on a whimper, do we, Ross? Let's be honest.
Oh no, not at all. We want to, you want to finish strong, and then we sort of go. You know what? Absolutely brilliant. Mark Robbins, the players. There was hairy moments as we'd have all expected, but to sort of finish strong and almost look comfortable. Towards the end of the season, with then hopefully with the Rico return on the horizon, it's going to be exciting times.
Absolutely. Aaron's saying is a top 6 finish still on the cards. A lot of people asking for top 6 finishes. Unfortunately, not. I think we've left it a little bit too late this season, but it just goes to show, like Nigel's saying here, that we do look like a good Championship side. There has been a few changes. You've noticed the defence are not playing out as much as they used to. It's sort of route one at times, but we're picking up those scrappy second balls. There's a lot of fight and determination that top half of the pitch. We've changed it up, and it's worked to an extent over those 3 matches, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and I prefer it. We're giving ourselves less time to shoot ourselves in the foot in our own defensive third, but we're also looking braver on the ball in midfield. Matty James and
there's a calmness personified, aren't they?
Exactly, but I mean, there was other games. I always go back to the QPR, I guess, but it was like we literally couldn't pass the ball to our own team. Like it, and then ever since then, it's like what, we've been brave, and we are showing we're a good team, which Mark Robbins would, fair play to him, because as a fan, it's easy we're fickle. There's a fickle bunch. But Mark Robbins, to be fair to him, he's always said, we're a good team. He said about being mid-table, and people laughed him on Twitter, laughed at the comment. And I said, I agreed with him. There's a very small amount between where we were and look where we are now and could be with a couple of wins.
Look at. I mean, you look back at the season. There's probably at least 12 points we've dropped from stupid mistakes and all our own doing. If we had those to our tally, who knows where we could have been.
Well, I mean, I look at Nottingham Forest. I think, had we not somehow gifted them 6 points, where we should have at least got 2 draws. If you add 2 points onto what we've got, great. If you take 4 points off Forest, they are in big trouble. And I feel like those 2 games stick out to me, because we literally had the first game was obviously the catastrophe at the end, and the second one they had 1 shot on target and won 2-1, and you just think, well, but it's one of those, isn't it?
I mean, more good news. Barnsley have just taken the lead against Huddersfield as well. A Dyke goal has given them the lead. So, Huddersfield are still in the mix down the bottom, and we're 4 points clear of them. So that's another team we don't need to worry too much about. And that's all it's needed is get more teams involved, because it takes the pressure off us.
Oh, we're done, Dino, mate. Don't you worry about who would have thought it that when we play Huddersfield, we could actually be holding a key to their destiny. No, but we could actually, we'd have all said, oh, the Huddersfield game, like, this could be like a, Rotherham 2.0 sort of thing, penultimate game. They might need the win. We could be like, we could be on the beach. Who would have thought it?
Absolutely. Talking on the beach, I'm sure Glenn is eyeing up a holiday at some point this season. Glenn, good to have you with us. Happy birthday as well for for the other day. I think it was Saturday or Sunday, your birthday. So many happy returns. But what a perfect present. Another season in the Championship to look forward to.
Yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah, it was. I think when the Rotherham game came around, I was like, I'll take 2 wins from 4, and that was thinking we'd get something against Rotherham, maybe nick a draw against Barnsley. I didn't think we'd get anything tonight at Stoke because they're pretty much solid, and I thought we'd get something against Preston, and we've just clicked like we did last season around the Sunderland, Portsmouth, Rotherham, Ipswich games. We found that winning mentality that we lost for a period of time, and that's the frustration that it was there and you could see it, and there was glimpses of it, and even the games where we've lost, I think QPR have gone on a good run since then, and they're not miles off the playoffs. Bournemouth absolutely destroyed Norwich, and I think maybe they're not actually the worst results in the world. Barnsley, I think Barnsley didn't look anything special. Tonight, Stoke scored 2 absolute screamers against us, and
Oh, he just cut out there, Glenn. Sorry, repeat that last thing you were saying there after Barnsley. I think we may have lost Glenn, unfortunately, which is disappointing because I was going to ask him. Oh, he's back. Glenn, you're back. Sorry, we lost you there for a second. What was your comments you saying after Barnsley?
I just said we look more solid. Like I said, we look more like we were last season, where we wouldn't give teams soft chances, and we're pulling out some cracking saves. I mean, Wilson's made 2 cracking saves tonight. The first one's absolute top class, and I think that's the frustration with a lot of our players. They've got the potential to be really good, but they've just got that little mistake in them. Like Wilson's pulled
having the belief as well, isn't it? You need to have that belief and that confidence to take into the next game, and 2 wins back to back. You can see that tonight. There was a lot of good performances with a lot of confidence and belief in their own ability.
Yeah, and I think that showed in Robin's substitutions. I mean, he swapped the 2 strikers relatively early. He took Hamer off and put Eccles on, which I don't think if we were like nearer the bottom that he would do. And I think that's helped. I think because we've got a bit of a cushion, he's a bit more trying to win the game. Whereas I think maybe if we'd been nearer the bottom, he would have probably played it a bit more safe and kept his cards a bit close to his chest. But I hope Kelly's all right because we do miss him. But on the other hand, it's a great opportunity to give Eccles some game time. And
you look comfortable there tonight?
I think that was my worry when Sheaf came. I didn't want Sheaf to stop Eccles developing. And although I like Sheaf, I just don't think Sheaf, if we keep Matty James next year or we keep Hamer, we've really got 2 midfielders in Hamer / James and Kelly are going to be starting pretty much week in, week out when they're fit. Yeah. Do you really need a Ben Sheaf not really playing that much? Because I think he's at the age where he needs to be playing football. Whereas I think Eccles will be happy with a bit part role, and he's got the right attitude and he gets stuck in. And I think it'd be good to give him a couple of games and see what's going. Because I think we're pretty much safe. Unless something pretty much madness happens, I can't see Derby winning 3 games. Not happening.
What about the team tonight? Was there any sort of standouts for you?
I think Hamer the last 2 games has looked miles better. He looks more like the Hamer. I mean, the mistake he made, he should be levering it 10 yards up, 20 yards up the pitch. But I get why he did it, and he's not the first COF player I've seen do that. So he's probably just guilty of trying to be a bit clever and trying to play out. But I think Hamer was really good. Callum O'Hare was good. Obviously, if you did a show Sunday, I was going to defend Tyler Walker. I just hate the fact that we lambast Tyler Walker all the time. Yeah. He is not Max Biamu or McNulty who's going to run around the pitch chasing lost causes. He is a finisher. He is a modern day Mick Quinn. Stick the ball in the box, give him chances, he will score goals. He is not going to be running around chasing the centre half, pressing them. he is our finisher.
Yeah,
he's not Matty
wholeheartedly
Godden.
agree with that.
Which is, I agree, Glenn. I completely agree. Which begs the question: why earlier in the season we played just one up top, and that one up top was Tyler Walker sometimes? Because I agree. I think you give him a chance. I think he's an incredible finisher, and when he's got someone up with him, when he's by himself, he has to do that running around. Which I agree. I don't necessarily think that his total strength.
I think you're right there when you say about early in the season when he was the one man up front, but that's the only option we had. We didn't have any other fit striker at that time. And people are going on what his performance is then. Okay, he didn't shine during that period of time, but that's because he doesn't play as a lone striker. It's as simple as that.
I agree, yeah.
It's just weird with Walker because the 2 seasons before, his great record of scoring goals has been as a lone striker. Like Mansfield, he played up front on his own, and Lincoln, he played up front on his own. It's just, he doesn't seem... Whatever reason, whether it's just we're not playing the style that suits him. I think the one up top in the Championship, he just looks ineffective in the games bypass him. Whereas I think with Godden, he's got that link-up play and he's got the pressure and the work rate. And I think when you play the two together, it works because Godden can play up as on the last man, but he also is a really good link player and he's got good movement. I just think you've got to give the guy a chance. It's like Gorkarez. People were lambasting him. That goal tonight is a cracking finish. Yeah. His performances since he played the 2 games for the under-23s, he's shown the right attitude, the right hunger, the right desire to I want to get first team football. You can counteract that with 2 other midfielders. I'm not going to name them who got a chance in the 23s, came and played against QPR and did nothing and were a waste of time. And people like lambasting him, he's not good enough. I think he's getting to the stage now whereas I wouldn't mind seeing him back at the club next season because I think he's got something about him. And I'd rather do that. I'd rather get somebody who you know back next season than go and get 7 or 8 fresh faces because you're just going to go back to square one on it and have to integrate them all. And I think McCallum's been really good again, and his long throw's brilliant. And I think he's getting to the stage now where I'd want him back next season, whereas maybe a month or so ago, I wouldn't be. Hyam has turned a corner. It's just so many of them have just gone on that, clicked into the form that we knew they had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want 60 points now. I want to win the next 3 games.
Oh, Glenn.
High as possible.
Absolutely. We'd all love to see that. Glenn, brilliant to have your thoughts on Sky Blues Extra, mate.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers.
Have a good evening. Brilliant comments as usual from Glenn. Obviously, lots to sort out during the off season with transfers. I mean, it's probably going to be a bit of a merry-go-round at Brighton during the summer. But you know, let's just enjoy the rest of the season before we look ahead to that. I just want to get through a few more comments before we get Mark, who's waiting in the wings. Ryan's noting the desire that's key, and we had that in abundance this evening. Dave saying it was never in doubt about staying up. I think it was at one point, Dave. Let's not kid ourselves, but you know we're pretty much safe there now. Hewins is saying was hoping we'd be safe before the last game of the season, but blimey, safe for 3 games to go. Play up Sky Blues. And Michael is mentioning the performance from Wilson this evening. Oh. Absolutely outstanding. The 2 goals, let's forget about those because they're just unbelievable finishes by Stoke. But that first save, I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, he's channeled his inner Gordon Banks there, hasn't he, against Pele? Clawed out. What an unbelievable stop. But save this.
I'm sure, like everyone else, it sort of went in. He won the header, and I thought I'd already sort of sunk down. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, goal.
Oh God, here we go.
And he got. It reminded me of the David Seaman as well against United.
Pesky Salido, yeah.
And he like scooped down. I was like, fair play to Wilson, and you know, we've almost needed. Yeah, and it was brilliant. It was an unbelievable save. I mean, like I say, and then. That was their one spell in the first half where I just was like, oh, we just lost our way a tad, I felt, in midfield. Unbelievable save, though. Full credit to Wilson. And he's been brilliant. He has been absolutely brilliant this season.
Yeah, a huge amount of people are commenting on Wilson's performance this evening. Luke Carpenter there, Ben Wilson, 2-class saves. And what about that second save? I mean, that was pretty much point blank, wasn't it? And he managed to palm it away strongly as well, which is a good sign.
Oh yeah, exactly. Real good reflexes from him, and I just like his no nonsense approach. I feel like he will just launch it. Do you know what I mean? If we were in any trouble, and I feel like we've learnt that over the last sort of few games, and it's just the results have just showed. Because I think defensively we're good. Do you know what I mean? We've got a good keeper, good shot stopper, and I think we win stuff in the air. We're well organised. A lot of our goals this season, Dino, as we've said, have come from our own mistakes, and we've eradicated that by or minimised it by clearing our lines, going a bit longer if needed, and look at the results.
Absolutely. Jay Levis is saying, what a time to find some form. 3 big wins and now to 51 points, which is a great effort. And I don't think we can understate how much of an effort that is to get to 50 points in our first season back in the Championship. With the pandemic, there's been a real lack of investment, which is part and parcel of the position we're in. It's basically a League One side playing in the Championship, and we've hit 50 points with 3 games to go. And at the moment, with the as it stands table, we're in 15th position. Unbelievable effort.
Unbelievable effort. Unbelievable. Like you say, we said it a couple of weeks ago. It is a League One team in terms of there's very little experience. Matty James being really the only one in terms of established sort of Championship experience player.
Fads to an extent as well, but
again, a lot of his he's not had like years and years and years sort of thing. He's obviously got that experience, but a young team of young players who I think we've got a lot of players, but I think people forget that yes, we'll bring in we will sign new players, but we've got players like O'Hare who will be a better player next season, 100% than because of this experience. Absolutely, and to be 51 points,
being in a scrap as well, because don't forget that sorts the men amongst the boys really.
The character, I think Robbins as well as us, I think he will learn a lot about the group, which players are up for it. After that QPR game, we've seen a massive fight because it would have been so easy for to sort of just go for the players to go under, and they've turned it around. And what brilliant.
Well, let's get Mark in to comment on what you just said there, Ross. Mark, good to have you with us on SkyBluesExtra. Before we get to the game, let me just ask you. Ross has just mentioned that QPR game. It was a really poor performance, probably the worst of the season. But there was a players' meeting after that game. How important do you think it was to clear the air going into sort of the remainder of the season?
I think obviously very important. I think it just shows that the players want it, and Robbins issued the rallying call in the Rotherham game. If you're up for the fight, we want you in my team, kind of thing. If you're not up for it, then get out, type of thing. So it was a very blunt message, but the players have been fantastic, as everyone's been saying. It's been we're playing with a lot more confidence and freedom now, as we've been discussing earlier. I think we just look at a much different team. I think after the QPR game was since then it's been brilliant, and the commitment, desire, the players, the hunger, the fight, it's all there. And now we're in a position now where we are safe, in my opinion. I don't care about results now.
Did you expect to be in this position after that QPR game? Did you have any hope? Because I can speak for myself and probably for Ross. We thought we were dead and buried, to be honest, at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the Rotherham game, I was extremely nervous. I was very anxious because I knew a defeat there, and we're in the bottom 3. But since that result, we haven't looked back. We're playing. I think we're playing like a team. I feel like we can play at. I think we can be a mid-table team. We've got the capability of getting there. I just think this season, as Ross mentioned earlier about the drop points in the Forest game as the example, is we've been our own worst enemy with some of the goals we've given away. Tonight, for example, Hamer was at fault for the first goal, and I think their second goal, you could argue that where's the marking for Klukas who rifles it in. But in all fairness, we deserved to win that game tonight. It wasn't a fluke that we won 3-2.
No,
I actually thought
not.
we played well. I thought obviously Wilson was brilliant tonight with some of the saves were. That was someone who played. If he was playing for Real Madrid tonight, when we could talk about the cows come home. So
get him in the Super League.
Yeah, and it also shows that we can handle a cold night in Stoke as well, which is good.
Yeah, and we went full Stoke with the second goal, didn't we? With Biamu, we rolled back to Stoke in the glory days of the Premier League with Rory Delap, long throw, flick on, back post, goal. Happy days. It's always nice to out Stoke, I find.
Yeah, and I think it's nice. It's nice for Biarm to get on the score sheet because I think he's done really well really this season. His finishing has let him down at times, but I think what you can't question is his work rate and his attitude. And Gyökeres, I think he's done really well for us, and I think we could snap him up on I don't know what his contract situation is like at Brighton, but I'd like to see him sign for us. I think whenever I've seen him play, I think he works really hard. He's a good team player. And to be fair, some of the goals he scored this season, he's taken them really well. I mean, tonight was a great finish. The game against Sheffield Wednesday this season, the 1-on-1 he puts away. I think he's doing really well. But it wasn't, as I say, Stoke are a decent team, but you know what? I felt like we played with a team with the whole weight off our shoulders. We looked like a completely different team. Like the pressure was off, and we could just relax and play our football. And you mentioned about we're doing well in the pandemic and all that, but also remember that we haven't played at the Rico. We've been playing at St Andrews all season, and we've done really well at St Andrews. There's a lot of positives, and obviously we've got to take that forward down to next season, the Rico. So.
What's your thoughts then towards the end of the season? Obviously, 3 games to go, a couple of home games embedded in those as well. 60 points is what we can achieve. Do you think we'll get there? We're going unbeaten with 3 wins to end the year. That's asking a lot, I know, but why not? With the confidence brewing in the side, I suppose.
I don't see why not. I think Preston, Huddersfield, and Millwall. I'd say on paper we can get 9 points definitely. It's not going to be easy, but look, I mean, it's what a position to be in. I'd expect to be sitting here tonight, talking about the fact that we're pretty much safe, because I was thinking, it might go to the final against Millwall. Can we get a win or not? But don't have to worry about it anymore, and that's quite an unusual feeling being a fan of Coventry, having supported the club for over 30 years and. Being used to nail biting relegation dogfights, particularly in the Premier League days. So,
well, it's been a roller coaster of 4 years, I would say, supporting the Sky Blues, and at the end of it, there's a little bit of light now. At the end of the tunnel, we can look forward to another year in the Championship. Mark, good to have your thoughts. Hopefully, we'll have you on again before the end of the season, mate. Thank you very much.
See you. Bye.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you. And Ross, before we get into the game, I mean, it's half an hour into the show. We haven't actually talked about the big chances in the game. Let's talk about the lineup tonight, because there was 2 changes. James obviously rested, and Godden brought back into the side. What were your thoughts on the starting 11 this evening?
Good, fine. I guess he was giving Hamer another chance in one of the centre mids positions rather than the more forward advanced position he was playing against Barnsley. And obviously, I was listening to what Glenn was saying, and when you talk about the Hamer, obviously, little mistake. I'm not sure whether I want him as a centre mid. I think he's better, like on Barnsley, when he's got James and Kelly behind him. Yeah. I think, because he has got that sort of, what makes him so good and creative is that he will try stuff, but he will lose the ball. And I think if he can lose the ball higher up the pitch, that's fine, because we've got the defensive cover. But when he tries to skin someone and he is the centre mid with an exposed, and you see the reaction of Fads and everyone, they're fuming with him. Do that.
It wasn't just them, I can assure you.
But what I mean is, like, if he's further up the pitch and tries that, okay, it might still be annoying in your own half, but he'll have James and Kelly behind him. So I like the lineup, and I think he has played well, Hamer. I see him more advanced, actually. I know it's funny, when we signed him, he was supposed to be this deep lying, pinging the balls, but I feel a bit more nervous in terms of, like, I don't think there's a mistake in Kelly and James. You know what I mean? Obviously, they are capable of making more, but I sort of just feel like they do the simple things. Like, they're risk-free sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you want those risky players in the attacking third, because that's what creates the moments of magic. I mean, he put an unbelievable ball in for Walker, didn't he? And
brilliant.
So I know I like the lineup, and Godden coming back in. I mean, it's good to suddenly have 4 fit strikers.
Yeah, options. That's all we've been asking for all season is options, and we can attack teams in different ways. So yeah, finally we're getting that as we come to the conclusion of the season, which is probably not the greatest times for that to happen. Sky Blue Army, if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. We're just going to continue to talk about the game this evening. Let's start with the opening goal, Ross. Obviously, deadly finish by Walker, but it was a lovely move, wasn't it? The chest down by Godden, O'Hare, who I thought was unplayable at times this evening. Brilliant through ball, and Walker, like Glenn mentioned, in the right place, feed the ball, he'll score a goal. Finish sublime.
A great finish, a fantastic finish. Another assist for O'Hare in the right place, put it on a plate, but it was difficult because he was sort of moving back Walker, so he had to sort of adjust his feet, and it was a really nice finish. And as we were discussing, I think Walker is a finisher. We saw the stats a couple of weeks ago in terms of the number of shots he takes to goals is really good, but I don't feel at times we've given him, and it's not necessarily him at all, we've not given him the service. Like, I feel like sometimes when he was up top by himself, he worked hard. Do you know what I mean? But nothing fell to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it always fell to someone else. Do you know what I mean? And I was buzzing for him today. And it was funny enough, before he scored a couple of minutes, I sort of said to my dad, I was watching the game with, I said, I'd love Walker to get a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially with I was listening back to the
doubts,
phone.
isn't there?
Well, there was people obviously questioning, does he look happy? Do you know what I mean? Does he look like he's, wants to be here, sort of thing? And obviously I can't answer for him, I don't know the answer, but I just thought, it'd be great for him to get a goal. And I think there's a real player there, and it wouldn't take much in this sort of formation. He could definitely get 12 to 15 goals next season.
Absolutely. Obviously they equalised. We've talked about Homer losing possession, but I suppose that's the story of the season so far, isn't it? So many times this year with the makers of our own downfall. There's no doubt about it. He just needs to clear his lines. But I mean, what a finish by Jacob Brown. I mean, there's nothing Wilson can do for that, is there?
No, the 2 finishes for them just flew in, didn't they? But the difference was in this game, earlier in the season, we would have made a mistake like that, and it would have been 1-0 to Stoke, because we wouldn't have. I felt the first half, apart from that little spell when Wilson made that great save, I felt like, you know what, we're taking the game to them.
Yeah.
Everything that we wanted this season when we haven't done it in games and we've gone 1-0 down, like Cardiff away. You know what I mean? It's like we wait to be behind to play. Whereas today we were like, at 0-0, we're going to play. And we took the lead. So actually, even when the mistake happened, it was 1-1. And then we went again. And the mentality to go again was brilliant.
We spoke about Biami's goal. Yep. Obviously, that was 2-1. A chaotic second half. Absolute chaos at times.
Dino, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, there's one clown tweeted saying, it's got a real end of season vibe.
I think that was me. Yeah,
it might have been you. That's it.
Yeah. And you're right with the clown comment. I am a clown. Yeah,
but no, but
it did feel like that for the first 15 minutes. I was like, everyone was just going through the motions. Both teams. There was no one shouting on the sidelines or anything like that. I thought, this is like an end the season dead rubber.
I know. I agree. I'm only messing. The referee looked like he was. He was like he weren't interested in giving anything. I mean, we should have had a penalty. That was a penalty on Godden. He's got there first. He's been wiped out. But I just want a little quick thing on Biamu. I want to give him a massive credit. Like, he's missed chances, but there was a period where he was literally the only striker.
He was and
unfit, injured, sort of, but playing. Derby getting crucial goals, and yes, he missed chances. I get it against Luton.
Wickham.
Wickham. He missed chances. Fine, but there was games where no one else was fit. Bakayoko was done, and Biamu literally was leading the line. And I think a huge credit to him, to be fair, for someone who when we played Bristol City on the opening day, people were going, "Oh, he's 4th choice." He was below Baka in the pecking order. So a big shout out to him this season. I think he's been great.
Absolutely. Obviously, Klukas, brilliant finish to make it 2-2. But then Big Vic steps up to the plate. And you think you'd run out of ideas at some point. You'd be on a brilliant run, but Stoke backed off. But it was at their own peril, wasn't it? Big Vic had ideas.
They clearly thought.
Grass cutter, bottom corner, beautiful goal.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, I think they just sort of, he had the freedom of Stoke, didn't he? Just like there was
Give
no one near. Give him the keys. But yeah, brilliant for him. And I have to agree with Mark, and Glenn said it as well. I think when he first came in, I sort of like, I think it was Reading. I remember he played and we lost, didn't play very well. And I thought, I'm really not sure what this guy's bringing that we don't currently have. Is he this goal scorer? Because again, Godden was injured, Walker was injured. And then he was out of the team for a while, didn't he? Wasn't coming on at all. And I was thinking, why have we signed this guy? Because he's not playing.
There was actually a couple of games he wasn't even involved in the squad as well. So
exactly. And you're thinking, well, exactly. And you're thinking, well, we've got this guy in for Giles, right? So we got rid of our winger option. But what I've been really impressed with him, actually, and it really started that Bristol City, great finish for him. But I feel like the last sort of few games, he's looked really sharp. I don't know, really fit, strong. And I've gone, you know what? If we could get him for less than 500k, if we could like throw him just a little bit like that, a few 100,000, I think, because he's, what is he, 22?
Yeah.
I think he's got good potential in him. I think Robbins can see, actually, there's more we can do with him than Bakayoko, because I think he's given up with Baka now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suspect then you might go into next season, if Victor was part of the plans, with him, Max potentially still in the fold, Walker and Godden. Would you be happy with that 4 going into next season, or would you
I'd want another striker?
Yeah,
I'd want a 5th one, mainly because I think we've seen with the injuries and that we had 4 strikers and we had 1 fit. You know, I think I'd want another striker. I do. I think we need it because you want the options there, and you're going to get injuries as we've seen. So it's all good and well when they're all fit. You sort of go, oh, you know what? Actually, Godden and Walker, they're sort of the finishers. Vic and Biama, you know, but it only take a couple of injuries to the 2 poachers, if you like, and then suddenly you're thinking, well, where are the goals coming from? Do you know what I mean? So I'd sign someone else. I would as well.
Glenn is asking, do we want Rotherham or Wickham to stay up for next season and lose a Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, and Huddersfield possibly? What's your thoughts on that?
Wickham are not going to stay up. I don't know what.
I think they are actually gone now. I don't think. Well, no, actually, because
they won. But they can do it. But I don't understand what they're expecting to happen for them to stay up. Because they can only catch Derby. They can only get to 46 points. So they need Derby to literally not get 2 points. They need Sheffield Wednesday are ahead of them, and they could. I actually think Sheffield Wednesday could potentially.
They're the ones for me that potentially could get out of it. Yeah.
Well, if they're 3 points below Derby on going into the last game, they play Derby, and their goal difference is better. So I think Wickham are done. Rotherham, I thought today they had to win. I actually fancied them to win.
Yeah.
I think from a selfish point of view, I think if Derby go down, that's good. Because I think they're the sort of team who next year could have a very different budget. They could be a very different animal. Whereas Rotherham, I think they'll be the same. They'll be a lowly team. So I'd say, I don't think Wickham are going down. For me, I'd say Wickham, based on form, Rotherham, Derby.
Yeah, I think it's that them three as well. I for some reason I think Sheffield Wednesday will get out of it, which for me is a good thing because an away day at Hillsborough next season is an absolute lip smacker. What a place to watch football, especially as an away side. Unbelievable atmosphere. And that for me is what I'm missing the most this year is just atmospheres. Unfortunately, it's only me and my missus in the living room. It doesn't really have that same appeal. And I'd rather be going to places like Sheffield next season, if we can. So for me, I'm with you. I think Wickham are gone. I think Rotherham will go, and I think Derby will go. I just think they're in such awful form. Derby. I've got a friend who's a Derby fan. He thinks that they're done. He thinks that that's it. They had to win last night. And Wayne Rooney could be a manager in League One if potentially he is still in a job come the end of the season. But for us, who cares? We're staying up. That's all that matters for us.
I want to ask you, Dino. So obviously the Telegraph predictor. A few games ago. I can't remember what the first game was. I wanted to know actually. I did it a couple of times, and I want to know what the points tally was for you. What you got for us after 46 games. For me, I did it twice, and both times, after 46 games, I said we'd get 49 points and would be safe. We're on 51 with 3 to go. I think I don't know many people who thought we'd get more than 50.
I didn't post it because I had us down. To be honest, I was going to post a screenshot, but I had us relegated. Yeah, I think it was after the QPR game.
Was it? Was it after the QPR game?
Pretty
No,
sure
it wasn't. No, it weren't. It weren't. The first game was the QPR game that we to predict because I put us as a draw against QPR.
Right.
Stupidly.
Okay.
So you thought we were down before the QPR? Goodness me!
I had us down,
What the hell? What the hell were you thinking? You were very good at hiding it then after the QPR game.
But then after mate, I was fuming. But I've got to host this show. I've got to be impartial as much as I can. But yeah, I was absolutely. I mean, if you can think back to us having a chat after the show, we were on here for about half an hour. Just absolutely cursing the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a miraculous turnaround. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I think the chat obviously helped, didn't it? There's no two ways about the
fact there was a meeting.
Players,
it shows that mine and yours and all the fans, because everyone was on the same page that day. All the comments of the SkyBlue Army. It wasn't us being overcritical or negative. It was literally we were just saying what we were seeing, and it was nothing to do with the football results. It was the desire and almost looking like we'd given up. Like where was the fight? But ever since then. In the biggest game, Rotherham was the biggest game. That was a huge game, and the fight that was there was unbelievable. And then since then, we've almost gone. You know what? We are a good footballing team, and we've actually gone and attacked teams, and it was a good fun game. And I think Saturday will be the same.
Thomas is asking, do you think we'll play with wingers next season? If so, who would you sign, and would you loan Jody Jones out? Let's go with your thoughts first. I've got a couple of thoughts, but let's go with yours first.
I would like us to sign a couple of wingers, or maybe someone who could play out there just to give us that option. I feel like we've been limited. I think we played a 4-3-3 against Cardiff this season and beat them at home. We had Giles on the right wing. I can't for the life of me remember who was playing on the left, but he was on the right. I remember because Robbins was like, "Oh, he's done really well in training." I think we will sign a couple. I'd like us to. Because I think it would just give us that option if we want to play. Chabello, I think, is done.
He's gone.
So we'd need a couple. And what was the other thing? Jody, would I load Jody out? I personally, because I thought I read somewhere saying he could be back before the end of this season, like, a feature. But
start the klaxon because Jody Jones had the ball at his feet at Brighton on Monday. So there's potential he could be back, depending on fitness, I suspect.
Yes.
So potentially that's something to look forward to over the next couple of weeks if he gets back involved.
Well, especially in the position we're in terms of to give him 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like you're thrown into we need to win this game like full blooded tackles. We're playing other teams who are literally done as well. Do you know what I mean? They're like they've got nothing to play for. So I wouldn't loan him out. No, and I do hope we give him a new deal. Yeah, because I know he's out of contract now.
For me, I think Jody Jones will be in the side next year. Definitely be in the squad for sure. He's a brilliant option. I think he's a brilliant talent. Obviously, we haven't seen much of him since the League Two, obviously due to injuries. But I think there's something there. I do think there's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. I don't know.
Well, in pre-season, he was unbelievable. Like I know it's pre-season, but you see a player and he scored that great goal against Burton, and he's got quality. Like he's got
that attitude, the free flowing attitude that you need basically to succeed, especially at this level. I think,
all the Cov fans, we love him and wish him nothing, but we hope that he's had his raw look, and I just want him to come and prove himself right, and the fans who supported him right, and he's got something, and I feel like he is exactly that sort of player we need when O'Hare's tired. Someone to play in that role, close control, dribbling. He can score. He's pacey. He's skillful. I think he'd be like a new signing. He'd be very exciting.
A lot of people are saying about O'Hare. We'll have a few suitors in the summer. I suspect he will, but it's going to take a lot to sort of prize the likes of O'Hare, Hamer away from the club. I would have thought if you want to build
climate as well. The current climate.
Yeah.
I think the idea that I agree there will be suitors, but I think we're in a position you're gonna have a sellout crowd with restrictions all being well on the opening day. You're gonna have a cracking. You can have 8,000 season tickets at least, if not more, if they can sell more. I don't think we'll sell him. I really don't, because I don't think there's many clubs in the Championship who are going to be in a position to spend the money that we'd want.
This is going to be a very, very strange summer transfer window. That's for sure. There's no money in
it
the
could work and benefit for us. It could actually,
massively, yeah.
I think for us, with our model, for where we actually came from in terms of League One, with the competition, the money so much less, I think we're in a position where we could, I wouldn't be surprised. I know Body tries to taper expectations, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did sign a couple of players, League One or something, $1 million here, $1 million there. But I think there's a lot of championship clubs who've been more, say, established recently. They ain't got the money. I mean, I think we'll be good. I think O'Hare at the Rico doing. I can't wait to see Godden doing the aeroplane, man, right in front.
Right in front of Block 16. Absolutely. I mean, the comment you've just made there about a lot of clubs have gone big this year, spent a lot of money expecting to be in and around the playoffs. You look at the likes of Stoke, they spent money in the summer, big wages spent on players at that club. Cardiff as well, Preston, they spent some money in the summer. Again, a lot of players on big wages there. These clubs are not even in the playoff situation. No, they're in dire straits, some of these clubs. I know the parachute payments for the free that will come down, they're in their own bubble. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's another discussion for another day. But for us, we're going to have the opportunity to sort of wheel and deal Dalboy and Rodney style this summer, and hopefully, I think we can find a few gems, a few hidden gems for not a lot of cash.
Well, look at people like Tyler Walker. We spent money on him. Ostergaard, James. You get these players in, and then there will be some other players in League One. There's. I actually spoke to a Blackpool fan, and he said that he'd seen we were interested in this Jerry Yates, their striker, who's like third top scorer in League One. People like that, I could get really excited about that sort of signing. Accrington have got that Dion Charles. What sort of position are Accrington in to really charge a load of money?
There's a lot of good League One players, that potentially could make that step up. I know this season we've got a lot of League One players in our team, but the difference going into next year is that our squad will have had a year in the Championship, and that experience counts for an awful lot.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. And the thing like you say about Cardiff and all these other teams, they aren't that much better than us. Like, we are in an upward trend. And what I'm so pleased about this season is Robbins has kept that going. At times it was a bit dodgy, a bit dicey, but we're there, and we're going to be in the Championship next season. And
add these three teams to your list: Bristol City, Blackburn Rovers. Look at the money.
We're above Blackburn Rovers.
Nottingham Forest. One of the richest owners in the EFL.
Derby, the wages that these players. But mate, look at Blackburn. This is a team who all I had to hear from these podcasts, they're gonna get promoted because they were smashing teams 4-5-0. We're now above them. Who would have thought it?
Oh, late goal for Forest at Birmingham, a 98th minute penalty. An equaliser of that game. So
that's actually good because they play Derby, and it means they're not quite out of the woods yet.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
Yeah, which is what you love to see. Let's leave it for this evening, Ross.
Yeah.
Good to have your thoughts, mate. Fantastic, obviously. 3 wins on the bounce. Great to have you along with me again. We'll be back Saturday for another Sky Blues Extra Live. As we take, is it Preston Saturday? It is, isn't it?
It is Preston North End.
As we take on Preston in the search for 4 wins on the bounce. Who'd have thought it? 4 wins for the Sky Blues on the bounce potentially on Saturday. So join us for the next Sky Blues Extra Live. The Sky Blues Extra podcast has also been released this week as well. So make sure you check that out. And all that's left for me to say is play up Sky Blues. We're staying up. Come on, the City.